This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek being held this year virtually. Joining me right now is Jorge Ramiro. He is the CEO of Reyna Silver. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is RSLV on the TSX Venture. Jorge, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Robert. Thank you for having me here. And, as I'm seeing your background, I'm feeling a little bit sad that we won't be there in person this year. And at the same time, thank you for making the possibility of having this presentation virtually.
Absolutely. And we're all thankful to the team at Precious Metals for transitioning and making this virtual event happen. Just think of this image. It's going to be crystallized in your brain now for 2021.
Yes.
So this is our first time doing an interview together, and I'd love to get a quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So I started the company 3 years ago. I was looking for silver assets. I was looking at the universe of silver equities, both the mid-tiers and the exploration companies. And I realized that silver has been in a bear market now for the better part of a decade. And what that has caused is, the mid-tiers and the senior producers have spent very little money on exploration. And a little bit different to gold, there's very few silver equities. So I looked around and had an opportunity to speak to Peter McGaw, who's the Chief Exploration Officer and founder of MAG Silver. And, I asked him if he might have any ideas of some exploration projects that I might be able to acquire. And he said to me, look, MAG Silver has two projects that he had put together back in the 90s, and which were part of MAG Silver's original IPO. And what's interesting about these two assets that we now have and are the main assets for Reyna Silver is that Peter put them together over a number of years in the 90s prior to the IPO of Reyna Silver. And when MAG Silver went public, of course, many of you are familiar with the history of the company, but just in case you're not, MAG Silver put these three assets into a public company, raised $5 million. And on their main asset now, Juanicipio, on the very first drill hole, they hit the bonanza zone of what is about to go into production as the highest grade silver asset in the world. As a result of that, these two assets that we now have didn't get a lot of attention over the years. So I discussed with the CEO of MAG Silver, and I said to him, look, would you consider a deal where we take these assets, put them into a private company? It was very tough to raise money at the time in 2017, 2018. They liked the idea. I funded the company with my own money initially. And then to make the long story short, last June, we took the company public in the Toronto Venture Exchange, raised an initial 6.5 million Canadian, which we've just in the process of completing another 7 million Canadian. So that's a brief history of the company. About to start a drill campaign in the next few weeks.
Got it. So what would you say makes the project and the company unique and different compared to your peers? Maybe a little bit about some of your initial drill results and some of the things that you found thus far.
Of course. So the philosophy of the company is high grade and district scale. So what we're after is projects that can make money under any market conditions. We have two projects, Gigi and Batopilas. They both have been previously drilled by MAG Silver. And they have numbers that are consistent with the high grades that you're looking for in an exploration project. And, what we're doing now is, for the first time, we've had a dedicated budget, not just for one drill season, but over a period of time, and looking to show the market that in both our deposits, we have the potential for a high-grade economic deposit that's not just going to be a small deposit, but district scale. So our Gigi asset sits in the Santa Eulalia district, which is historically one of the main silver districts in Mexico. It has produced 500 million ounces of silver, where the average grade of the silver is about 310 grams per ton silver, but with a very big lead zinc kicker, which is about 15% combined. That's the average of the district. And then at Batopilas, which is our second project, that used to be Mexico's highest grade silver producer until 1910, produced 350 million ounces of silver, where the average grade of the silver was 1.5 kilos per ton silver. So a very important mine in the history of silver in Mexico. Both of them have exceptional drill targets. And what's unique about our company is we have Peter McGaw leading our exploration efforts. And he, of course, is one of the most successful silver exploration geologists over the last couple of decades.
What's your background prior to founding the company in 2017?
Yeah, so I'm a Mexican originally, and I started in the mining business in 2010 approximately, and I was doing an MBA in Hong Kong, and met with a Japanese entrepreneur who was very excited about the mining industry. And at the time, there was a big boom in commodities. It was sort of the beginning of the last leg of the previous bull market. And so I moved to Mongolia and helped him finance a number of mining companies. And, you know, at the time, it was literally right when, 2011, when gold and actually at that time, all the commodities were going through the roof. So I said to myself, well, this is a pretty good, a pretty good industry. Of course, it was the top of the market. I later learned that it's not always like that. But I did get hooked into the thrill of exploration and commodities and the junior market. And so I started a small venture capital investment company here in Hong Kong that we've been funding junior mining companies for the better part of a decade, as well as nurturing our own vehicles, usually privately, looking for companies, looking for assets for commodities that at the time are not, people are not interested in them, but that have a bright outlook. And Reyna Silver is one of the companies that we incubated and have now taken public.
Got it. And then from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
Yes. So the value creation for the company is absolutely going to come from drilling. Both our projects have a very solid base. They've been drilled. They have geophysics. They have historic production either right on the project or right next to it. So the big thing now is there is a geological model for our Gigi property that Peter McGaw is very confident in, and we'll now drill it and test it. If we test it, it's a CRD system, and these systems typically, in this type of, essentially what it is Mexico and US, there is a collection of these almost in a straight line. And typically these systems have, the CRD systems have what's called a chimney system and a skarn system. In the particular case for the Santa Eulalia district where we are, that skarn system has never been found. And the chimney system, which has two producing mines right next to our project, have combined, produce about 500 million ounces of silver of very high grades. So what we're looking for is, the other half of the system, which should have at least as much, if not more. So we're looking for this is a large target, looking for, for a large high-grade silver target. And in Batopilas is the same. It's a different project. It's a mine that was in production. So in that particular case, the big catalyst is going to be doing drilling to prove and find more pockets of high-grade ore around the old mine. But Peter McGaw put the district together in the 90s, which includes the old mine, but also about 30 known veins around the district. So what we want to do here is show that we have the potential for a new high silver grade camp.
Got it. And where can my audience go and find more information about Reyna Silver?
So the best place to go is to our website, which is www.reynasilver.com. And we do have a LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube page. All the information is in our website. And we do have a number of videos where Peter McGaw explains the technical details of each of our assets, and that's actually the best way to understand our company.
Very good. Well, Jorge, with that, thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time, and stay safe, and speak to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Person.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, my name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host on SNN Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek, being held virtually this year. Jorge will be there to present, and thank you all for listening today.
Thank you.